Hello everyone, welcome back to another video by clip on my YouTube channel, and this week I'm gonna share with you how it looks like to finalize or to make the final decisions in a track. So, I already made a video about this track where I said that I used a different techniques or a different approach for structuring the track, and in general I used one of the tracks that I liked and I just copied the arrangement. When I say that, I mean I just saw on this track like where the kick and bass are going, when they're stopping, and I just used the arrangement of that track with my drum template. I just extended it and I used like only the skeleton of like only the drums. And this approach I used because I wanted to change it, as otherwise I'm starting with a loop, and then with the loop I'm just adding sounds on top of each other. And as in that video I also explained, as I'm working in a really comfortable zone where there's just a loop, I most likely end up of printing more material than I need. So in order to create a little bit drier track, and drier tracks are more groove oriented and there's more space for the kick and the bass, and I wanted to kind of to win a battle with myself or to win or to change my standard way of working, I tried to come up to this different approach. So I had the track really fast. The first version I really had it like in 3 or 4 sessions, and I thought like this is really good way of making the track much more faster, as I just print enough sounds as it need to fill into this track. So after that I just drop in some of the drum templates. In the beginning I transposed the bassline in a C sharp and I wrote the whole track as I just said, and then I was working on the details, making decisions like the break or where I'm gonna do something, dropping in a little bit more, so like working on a super detailed things as well. In the previous video I explained or showed how they make this psychedelic percussive sequence. So now was the moment that I came up to the end of a track, like okay, that is like 95% done, now I'm gonna make the final decisions. In my opinion, this is the hardest, and this is the process that takes the longest from all other processes, in my opinion, as it carry the weight of the final decision. So just for me at least to understand that this whatever decision I'm making is the last one, and that after that I make this decision or make the bunch of those decisions, I'm gonna send this track out, and it might have, I just want to make sure that I'm making the best possible decision, in my opinion. So this is why this process is actually taking even longer to me than writing the whole track, as I believe this is the main reason why some tracks sound super professional and interesting, and some of them can have some moments which can not be that interesting. So the more we listen, the more carefully trying to understand where to put something is, I believe, is bringing the track to be better and better. So these can be only the small decisions or the small differences, but bunch of them can actually make the big change. So also from the audio engineering side, as I said, I'm dropping in the template. I don't pay much attention on it because on solo it always sounds good, but then when we use more and more sounds, and then this second process in my way of working is always like I'm concentrating on creativity, and I'm trying to switch off this audio engineering, like the kick and bass, and to sound tough and whatsoever. So I try to write the track, and then after I have all the elements inside the track, I'm gonna pay attention on how it's gonna sound. As I mentioned many times, I believe that there are 2 main differences when it comes for making the music. One is this creative, when we can play around with the different sound design, layers, atmospheres, melodies, whatsoever. And after that, and the second one actually is this audio engineering, where we pay attention of how to bring it to sound as best as possible. For me, these are completely 2 different things, and in my opinion, this should be done by 2 different persons, as it's really hard. Like after 18 years, I realized that my biggest struggle is the battle between this technical audio engineering and creativity. So for the last 5 years or more, I completely went into this audio engineering. And when you go on this way, most likely it's gonna be that it's gonna cause, you're gonna pay a little bit of the price of losing a bit of the creativity, because this technical part requires a lot of training, understanding, even psychologically. It's really important how you put your mindset and other things. I'm gonna explain everything about it in the next course or the next class in Scientific Master Course about the sound design, and I'm gonna explain all this in details. Anyway, so the track was done, bam, 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 that's it. I'm ready to put it for a release. And when this happens, like, okay, I am writing with label, okay, we're gonna look for a date when we're gonna release it. This is the moment when this, how to say that this whole situation is getting to the most serious level, as now there's not more time on playing around. Now we need to close it and finish it. Maybe I can put this over here or maybe not. So there are so many different decisions we can make. Of course, it can be much more relaxed, but there's also the weight of now switching on this audio engineering moment to the highest level, when I'm gonna check the kick and the bass, how they sound, the hi-hats, everything, like when it comes for a mixing as well. And this is where I lost my mind. Like last 2 weeks, I am just switching around and trying many different ways to make the bassline in a C sharp. So the bassline in a C sharp, this is like a my brain exploded. So I'm just gonna share with you the other project which I wanted, because I spent so much time in working on this kick and bass and the drums in a C sharp, and I realized like how hard it is. So I started talking with other producers. I spoke with Elon from Symbolic. He also said like, yeah, C sharp is a nightmare. I spoke with Capo from Liquid Soul. Also, he said like, yeah, it's the hardest key beside the C. I spoke with Zeiss and Phlegma like last 2 days. They also helped a lot with many advices, and also I shared with them like some of the research which I did in those 2 weeks. So anyway, so I just want you to look, like, to show you how it looks like. All of those channels are just kicks and the basses, and I tried to make the best possible combination. Why there is so many? Because now if I come up to some interesting results, I'm gonna duplicate it so I can keep this one, and then I can apply in this one some changes in order to see which one is gonna sound better, because I can A/B them. Then I put this kick, another kick, the third one, and I tried to came up to the best sounding combination. I tried Vital, I tried Serum, I tried Rapture. On the end, Rapture showed up as the best in my opinion, and this is the bassline I came up to for this track. My light just switched off, the battery is gone, but anyway. So the reason why I'm showing you this is for all of you who believe that even for us, like experienced producers, like sometimes how hard it is to make these final decisions, and for us is also not that easy. We also spend enormous amount of time in order to make our mixes to sound the best as possible, especially when it comes to the kick and the bass. And honestly, I didn't know that C sharp is this hard. Actually, this is my first track ever done in a C sharp, and it's not gonna be the last, because now after I made all this research, I need to make sure I used that time which I spent. And honestly, like I'm literally saying, like last 4 days, more than 10 hours a day, I was just doing this, like trying to make the kick and bass to sound good enough. Anyway, beside that, I made another one you remember from the previous video. Somehow it sounded dull, so I added even one more sequence to the and I believe now it sounds much more powerful. And in general, I changed the bass line, and I believe I finally made something that sounds amazing. So I'm gonna just rewind it a little bit and play this part to you. So yes, finally I'm happy even then in this part of a track, but now when this melody comes in, I still hear some things which I would like to change on the C-sharp bass line, but I'm sure that now I'm not gonna make it that I'm gonna like it like 100%. So I need to make this compromise. Like if I change the bass line for 30 degrees, then something else on that bass line I don't like, and I just need to choose which things that I don't like I'm gonna keep in a track. So honestly, I gave up so much of my time to just make the bass line in a C-sharp, which I did. And as you can see, even in this project, there's like 4 different kicks, the bass lines, it's insane. And when I opened this morning, the last session, because this is the 14th version of this project, I deleted like 7 or 8 channels of the kick and the bass. So the purpose of this video and the main point is that even for experienced producers, it's always a struggle and the problem to make the kick and bass tough. In my case, everything that's from like even D, even if this bass line just pulled to D, it sounds much more full. In C-sharp, it just loses this, it's like a crossover frequency. And I already spoke in the kick and bass class, which I made, the scientific master course, the class about the kick and bass. I also said that when I was working on a smaller speakers on solo bass, on vocal solo bass 6, for me that F sharp and F, when I made this, was also this kind of switch point where my speakers, I think, couldn't provide that low or the first harmonic frequency. And then just changing, it's like on F sharp, it's like really full, and then on F, it's just disappearing. Now I don't have that problem in F sharp, now I have it in between of D and C sharp. It just loses the warmth, this fullness in, I don't know, it just goes deeper, and it's like there's a lot of empty space in that bass line. So it was really hard to find the proper synthesis, and also to make a proper processing for this bass line. Finally, I made it, and as you can see, I already exported it. I exported it already to the wave, as I want to have it in wave as C sharp. Somehow the release of the note was always going more than it's needed, so it sounds much better when it's just in shorter. I don't do that most in any tracks, but now I decided to try it up, and actually it really gave me a really good result. So every note has a little bit of fade out, and I believe that this track is finally ready to be packed and released on Iboga Records. And I'm gonna change the name of the track. Now it's called something like Dalaman, but I'm gonna find a proper name, and I'm gonna release it soon on Iboga Records. So this was the knowledge I wanna share with you. It's more about experience this time, and just sharing with you the process of working. I believe it can help to all of you who believe that one day you just gonna be doing everything in 3 clicks and everything's gonna sound perfect. This is possible if you want to end up using only the templates, which is okay. There's many producers who are doing like that, or different way, which is also a really good thing to think about, is to hire someone else to do all of this engineering stuff for you. This is the second time I recorded this video, and I'm not sure did I mention it, but if I didn't, I'm just gonna mention it. Like, being creative and this audio engineering, these are 2 completely different things, and in my opinion, it shouldn't be done by the same person for so many reasons. And all about that I'm already made in my script, which I'm gonna record in the next class, which is going to be about sound design and creativity. So this was it for this video, and see you soon with another video. Bye.